Hello, and welcome back to Password. Thanatos has knocked us out again. We're in the mill? This was a mill, right? That's what that building was? Look, it's been a hot minute. What was that, like day 11? That was so long ago. I think I recorded that back in like September or October or some shit. It's been a while. When I opened my eyes, I was restrained somewhere dark, off in the corner against some sort of rusted pipe. I could smell blood. My face was dripping, my head ringing. Reckon the boss made the right call. Dom, buddy, pal, friend. You can just say yes. Look, I don't know. I don't care. I just want to know when we can get some action. I'm bored. You could always go say hello to your friend if he's conscious. I could hear the glee in Jack's voice as he made a sound somewhat mixed between a mix of gasp and squeal. Somewhat, whatever it was, thought it would, though it made me sick to my stomach. Jack, could you not? I have a headache. Spoil sport. Not like I have menses to mess with. I strained to look from where I was, but not only was I not in control, their voices echoed from far enough away that I got they were deeper in the mill. Okay. Things started to fade away when I heard footsteps getting closer. I couldn't tell, but from where they started, it couldn't have been either Dom or Jack. When I opened my eyes next, I was greeted to the sun and a small throbbing headache. Yes. Ow. I was flat on my back, staring upwards with Thanatos just off to the side. He looked over my way once I made a sound and got closer. What happened? I'll take credit for that. I could feel myself start to get angry, but something stopped me. Something seemed off, familiar. You made me pass out again. Why? Thanatos gave me a look, eyes narrowing before he responded. For fun. What kind of person even does that? Well, I'm hardly a person, am I? Looking over to Thanatos, he seemed confused about something, and I thought I knew what. What kind of person even does that? Well, I'm hardly a person, right? Me finishing his sentence gave him pause. Was he suspicious? Was it just all a big coincidence? On a more serious note, 2 questions for you. I don't know what I'm going to do about Jack. There isn't many options for us, is there? What are you playing at? Huh? You know what you're doing. What was the second thing you wanted to ask me? I mean, it's about what you saw in the little dream I gave you just now. You mean memory? Semantics. I didn't reply, trying to understand how this conversation was going. It was like my dream, except I knew how it was going to go, this time anyway. Details, Dave. It's basically what happened yesterday, except? Thanatos clapped in my direction to wake me up. I was maybe zoning out a little too much, being roused from the thoughts to look at him. The hell is wrong with you? What? You know what? I probably need therapy. Yeah, among other things. From your perspective, have we had this conversation before? Sort of. Well, you tell me what happened next. How about a test? I ask you a question, you give me the answer. And if I get it right? Then, we'll know what's been Well, no, you've been through this all before, and I'll treat you to something nice. And then the question is, where is the Leo medallion? My throat felt dry. In the place where Oswin does his best work. Fuck off. Do I pass? We must have had this conversation before. Not exactly. How did you know? Last night, the dream I had. You said you didn't cause it, but... Thanatos scratched his chin, thinking it over. You're right, I didn't. Which means... You're remembering. I don't know how still, but you're remembering. Have I remembered before? Sometimes. It's inconsistent. I scratched my head, unsure of what I was meant to do with that information. What did you see when I put you under just now? The inside of the watermill. At least I'm pretty sure it was. There was... it was there... from what I remembered when I was there last. Anything else? Dominic and Jack were there, talking about something. I was bleeding, maybe. Tied up to something in the corner, though. Interesting. Interesting good? Or bad? Just interesting. Something to think about. Because? You're not giving me a lot to go off of. Just because it's interesting to me doesn't mean it's going to be interesting to you. Fine, keep your secrets. Besides, you probably want to know where the Leo medallion is. Well, yeah, the place where Oswin does his best work. So, the lab? No. What do you mean, no? That isn't where he does his best work. Then where? Let's go for a walk. Thanatos climbed up on my shoulder and guided me back inside. From there, it was towards the stairs leading up. Over there. I followed his outstretched arm to the bookcase and tilted my head. You want me to grab a book? 2, actually. And the medal is going to be inside. In a sense. How can a single medallion be inside 2 books? Is it broken or something? I took a step back, looking over the bookcase. Is this one that leads to the library from... Wait, is this like the one that leads to the library from the conservatory, isn't it? Well done. The 2 you want are those. He points to 2 books, neither of which looked out of place, but that seemed to be the point. Much like the other bookcase, I heard the click. Now, just push that aside and we can go in. Inside, it seemed fairly ordinary, as rooms went. Nothing seemed off in any case, just a small desk with the walls lined with books on what shelves were available. Has this been here the whole time? I sat Thanatos down on the desk and looked around. Sure has. Normally Oswin uses it. A couple others have found it already too. Who? Roswell and Haas both have. Not that they did anything with the information after seeing the room was empty. Time's ticking. You're looking for a book. Another secret passage? Not this time. Oswin's sister hid this one away too. All right, then what's the book? The 3 Little Pigs. Oh, I know that one. Not this version. Oh, how is this one different? You want me to tell you a story, or do you want the medal? Both? Find the book and I'll give you the abridged version. Any clues, or should I just start searching? Get looking, I'll wait. I started at one end and started slowly scanning the books with my finger, running over the spines, making sure I didn't miss any by accident. I took it slow. While I look, can I ask you something? What? Why did you mess with Oswin so much? Like, he's not your master, then why do, I guess, any of the things you do to him? It's fun. I get that. But there's no other reason? It's just fun and that's it? It keeps the boredom at bay. Also, if he's so proud of being the smartest one in the room, he can stand to be humbled. Is he really the smartest one here? Well, it's for sure not you, Junior. Roswell is pretty smart. What about him? It's hard to say. Those two in the same room is interesting to watch without me needing to do anything, so I just sit back and enjoy the show. Anyone else? Compare, or? Sal, perhaps. Again, it's hard to say though, for that one. It's because he doesn't say much to me. Fair enough. My turn. What do you want to know? You already know, otherwise you wouldn't be asking, right? After catching me off guard with your recollection of the Leo medal, best to double check everything. We still don't know who your master is, so any clue might help. Thanatos nodded slowly, holding my gaze. Stop. You're touching the book now. Looking back at where my hand was, I hooked a finger into the top of the spine and pulled it carefully from its spot on the shelf. So, it's in here, huh? Well, no point waiting. Open it up and get the medal. Okay, I'm going. I did so and found a section of it hollowed out. The pages hadn't been glued together, but the bulk of the book, or maybe its age, kept the thing together. This is a bulky children's story. Nothing about that story is for children, Dave. Carefully setting the book down, I pick up the medal. Leo. But that wasn't all that was in the book. A lone passage left underneath it. What's this? They're cute. Take it in, Dave. Who do you think these three are? Well, it's obviously Oswin and his siblings, right? That's right. But why is this here? You'd have to ask Florencia, which is a bit hard at this moment. Yeah, it's just so strange. Go on. That Oswin was a kid once, like us. That the people here were once just kids. And? Did they go through anything like this? If they did, could that be why it's happening to us? I stared closer at the book, a photo, rubbing my thumb over the glossy print. Why was this left here? Who was it left for? Surely not me, right? Remember what is important, Oz. Okay. Oh. Looking at the writing on the back, I was left with even more questions. Though, at the very least, who had written this was at least obvious. Oh, that's a little loud on the levels. Flora. That'd be Florencia, or at least what Oswin and Reginald called her. Makes sense, given the photo, I guess. I put the photo back in the book and placed it back on the shelf, pocketing the medal. What are you planning on doing with that? I don't know. Show the others for starters, and then leave it with the rest. And while I'm at it, think about what I'm going to do about Jack. Good. But I don't know what you could possibly expect me to do. Have I done anything notable in the past, or? Don't know. Whatever happens, it happened out in the woods, way outside my maximum range. And no one tells you afterwards? Let's just say other things get in the way. Alright, well, I'm just going to accept that and figure it out. Maybe I'll ask the others. There you go. But before I go, what happens in the vision of the story? Right. So the story is the same for the most part. 3 pigs, 3 houses, you get the gist. Then what's the difference? There's no wolf. Then how does the story function? Isn't the big bad wolf kind of important to how it goes? The first little pig leaves home, gets sick and dies, poisoned by the influence of the outside world, and ultimately done in by a rabbit that offered them a piece of chocolate. Clearly not the Easter Bunny, then. The second goes somewhere far away and is presumed dead. This one was also offered chocolate, but instead turned into a rabbit. But that's as good as dead from the author's eyes. I took a moment to look for an author's name on the spine, but nothing stood out. And the third? Oh, and the third. Survived? Yes. And that's it? He just survived? Yes, survived. Though the rabbit didn't. Cooked alive in the house after trying to burn it down. That's really not a children's story. I've seen worse in children's media. Shit's fine. I told you that already. No need to have a sweeping epic for children when there aren't any pictures either. Except that book did have a picture. You know what I meant. I think what bothers me is there wasn't really a lesson to learn, was there? Just that be wary of rabbits because they're going to poison you or turn you into one of them, or I guess try and burn down your house. Outside, being wary of rabbits specifically, there was no lesson. Racist? Pretty much. Regis liked to have such books on hand, apparently. Regis Hammond? Right. Meaning that'd be Osmond's father. Huh, alright. Before I forget, probably best you head downstairs now, before you miss it. You'll catch up. Something important? You'll find out when you get there. I left Thanatos in the study and headed back downstairs with the Leo medal in hand. Just, what else are we meant to do? I froze on the spot and decided to listen in, wondering what was happening. Excuse me. Not about to worry, simply. But, Dean, he said not to worry about it. I could hear Osmond grunt before making a move to leave, but his footsteps came to a halt, and he called out. Dave, I know you're there. Come on down. What's going on? Roswell's sick. Well, yeah, we know. Really sick. How sick is really sick? Well, he's gonna die by the end of the week, so... or maybe by the end of today. Osmond put a hand on my shoulder, shaking his head. He'll be fine. Comparatively to, well, dying. That's not much of a comfort. Can he have medicine? And what medicine would you want me to give him? I could knock him out, but he'd still feel the pain. I could numb the pain, but he'd be wandering around in a daze, and likely a danger to himself. As opposed to what? What's he like now? Aside from tired, he seemed alright before. He looked like he just ran a mile, but it's his eyes. They're so dilated. Would you rather him conscious or asleep? Sounds like he'd be better asleep. Fine. If you consent, then I'll put him under. Why didn't you ask me then? Oh, come on. We're long past the point of that, Dave. He waves me off, shakes his head. Now, if you'll excuse me. When did all this happen, anyway? We came inside to get coffee, and ran into Roswell. Well, we did, actually.
Almost knocked him over and had Orlando rushing out to help.
And then you were planning on coming to get me?
That was the plan.
Where's Hoss and Tyson?
They split off to look for something to help. No clue as to where they ended up.
Let's go check in on Roswell then. I'm curious to know if Oswin is actually going to help or not. Okay. I'll end the part here, so I will see you around, everyone.